Hello again. Before I go into any more about me, I'd like to talk about end time and what I think that actually means. Now, by end time, I don't believe that it's the end of the world. I believe it's the end of the perception of the time that we think we live in. What I mean by that is, I'd like to propose that we have far more history than we're aware of. The clues of this are everywhere. If you look into Egypt, and look at the Great Pyramids of Giza, just the very fact of their construction shows a level of technological development that's beyond us even now, and it shows a level of geometric perfection and cosmological understanding that to have built that then so that it aligns with the heavens at certain points within the calendar shows that they'd already understood the nature of precession, which means that they'd been studying the heavens for several thousand years prior to the building of the pyramids, because it takes so many thousand years to actually understand the nature of the precession. Now, on top of that, there's the Sphinx. The Sphinx is probably 7,000 years to 10,000 years older than we think it was. We originally thought it was, and it had been there before the pyramids were ever built on the Giza plateau. And what's happened is it's been uncovered, someone's found it and restored it, and then built the rest of the Giza plateau and the pyramids around it. But the greatest sort of mystery of the Sphinx, the riddle of the Sphinx as you should call it, is that underneath the base of it, underneath the sand, it's showing water erosion, and serious water erosion. Like the entire Sphinx plateau has been underwater at some point, and the top you can't see the erosion on anymore because it was recarved and remade. But if you go down underneath, you'll see that the lower beds of stone have all been eroded, seriously eroded by water. So what that's saying is that 7,000 to 10,000 years before the pyramids were ever built, the Sphinx was there, and the Egyptian culture basically just set up their constructions on the basis of someone else's. Now, the pyramid texts speak of Thoth being the one that brought writing and culture and knowledge to Egypt. Now, he wasn't a god. The words gods in Egypt actually should be referred to as little gods, also called neters, which basically means a path of knowledge or a cult of understanding. And that's how they were written. The ancient texts, are all encoding an incredibly sophisticated understanding of the universe that we've forgotten how to understand, and we've started looking at it as it's divine truth, and it's the word of God, and it's not. It's an allegorical metaphor for some seriously insightful and very, very powerful understanding of the universe. And when you actually learn how to interpret them in the way that they were written, rather than the way that we read them, because you have to understand the language of the times when these things are written. They're not written the way that we would understand them. They're written in a language that's interpretive and interconnected and veiled and symbolic, and they're doing that so that they hide some really serious knowledge from the uninitiated layman who wouldn't know what to do with it and might cause some serious damage. And the only way that you would ever understand these is by following the cult of whatever path that you've chosen, whether it be the neters of Osiris or Isis or whatever. And as you became an initiated adept, you'd be given certain hidden knowledge about these systems that allowed you to understand the mysteries that they were hiding from the common man. So these were brought by Thoth, and Thoth wasn't a god. Thoth is supposedly the last priest king of Atlantis, who brought what had been salvaged from this ancient culture with him, and that caused the explosion in Egyptian culture. You know, that's why they had writing, a fully realised system of writing like that, and that's where they developed the knowledge of building and of agriculture, and it was all brought with them. You know, they developed its stepstone evolution. You know, these are like bang, bang. They didn't go up like this. You know, they literally they were given knowledge, boom, 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 and up it went. You know, societies don't develop like that. This is knowledge that's been imparted by someone else. More than that, the bas reliefs on the pyramids and such like that show technology that isn't readily disseminated into public awareness. There's depictions of light bulbs, of lamps, electric arc lamps. There's depictions of batteries, of flying machines, and far more besides. You know. So what we're seeing here is that our society and the history of humanity actually goes back a lot further than what we've been told is truth. And at some point we've been so advanced that it may even overshadow where we think we are now. You know, and things like this actually reveal themselves when you start studying the natures of the Kabbalah and how it describes the return journey up through the tree. It talks about things like the creation of